You got production assistant?
I had a deckhand that I flew in because we're about to be real busy, and he was hurting where he was at. I was like, dude, come fish with me for the month. You'll make some money. So he flew in yesterday, and he brought all his weather with him in a suitcase, I think.
Well, you might as well have him go get you some water then. That's what I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have to say. Oh, yeah, buddy. We are starting. We are starting the broadcast. Connected. I'm going to hit that button too just for shits and giggles. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
You better be ready. You better. I'm sitting on ready, rocking on go. Oh, look at all this. I love it. There's already people jumping in. Hello, my peoples. Oh, yeah. Even Facebook's telling me I'm talking. I'm always talking.
What are you broadcasting on? Instagram, Facebook, and
I am broadcasting
YouTube?
Facebook on 3 pages on Facebook, on YouTube, and then we are going to suck out the audio and put it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher. The best one is Alexa Play. So when I go to my friend's house, I go, Alexa, play Fly Navarro, no BS. Next thing you know, wha-bam, I am there. But just so we know, let's get the party started right. And we are back. Here I am, Fly Navarro with the No BS World Tour coming at you. We're going low-key Friday. Today I went with T-shirt, no collar shirt. I went with the And We're Back shirt. We are sitting here having a good old time with my man, Brian Evans. Brian, how are you, sir? Did I lose you?
You're talking about me, Brett Ryan, not Brian
Brett,
Evans.
I called you Brian.
I thought you were reading posts.
Well, you know what it says? It says Danny Noonan on your thing. So
yeah, I don't know why to get that off of there. I was on doing like a Zoom meeting with some buddies, and I thought that was funny. Danny Noonan from Caddyshack. I don't know how to get it off.
You know what? I was going to say I knew that name, Brett. I apologize, but I'm going to call you Danny Noonan. Just remember, be the ball. No.
Exactly.
No. So, answering your question, we are live on Facebook. I see Luis from Guatemala in the house. I see my little cousin that's getting married tomorrow. I see Bill Fish girl, Carrie Burris in the house. Victoria's in the house. Good to see you. Who else is in here? Oh, Dennis Hill. Spanky is in the house. So good to see everybody. Brett, please introduce yourself. Being that I got your name wrong, I'm not going to let myself down on that. No way, sir. We even got Cameron Burrell in the house all the way from Okinawa, Japan. And Robbie Carter is in the house. Good to see you, Robbie. I've been trying to get Robbie on here, but he said he's afraid to talk.
Is that what it is?
I don't believe that.
No,
I've seen that boy talk.
Oh yeah, he's good at it. I sent him a text earlier, told him I was going live with you. So I was supposed to do that to promote the Tuna in Wahoo Classic a couple weeks ago.
I've been trying to get him on here since June. I've been trying to get him on here to promote the Biloxi Big Game or the Biloxi or
Billfish Classic.
Yeah, the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic. I've been trying to get him
one of my favorite tournaments right there.
The King Master. I've been trying to get him in on everything. I got Peter Neal from Panama watching. Good to see you, Peter. Good to see everybody. We got people from all over the place. But anyway, Brett, introduce yourself. You got a couple of things going on. You run a charter boat. You also run a boat during the tournament. So let everybody know where you're at, where you're from, what you do, blood type. And to all you ladies watching, he is off the market, as I was told very, very quickly. He says, hey, man, I'm off the market. Let everybody know, because sometimes the women get kind of crazy here on social media. So
it's just we were trying to get the correct lighting. make sure.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you looked good, and the best thing I could do to make you look good was just shut off the computer. So
yeah, that's why I blanked out a few times.
So, oh, is that some moonshine you're drinking there?
Unfortunately not. I'll
Yeah.
wait till we're done talking with you to get my Friday going. I'm
H2O?
trying to pre-hydrate.
You're going to need it because I'm going to talk a lot.
Sounds
So,
good to
actually,
me.
you're going to talk a lot. So, Brett, where are you from?
Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been fishing Venice since 2008 as a professional captain. I mated for a year and a half down there for one of the big organizations at the time. And after the oil spill in 2010, decided to go at it on my own and pretty much run my own one-man show, like one-horse operation, I guess. I run my own boat. If we have multiple guests, like 12 guests, and I need to get a second boat, I partner up with some of the other guys that run one boat themselves, and we get it done for the people. I've been at that charter game for 12, 13 years now, and just got my third boat from Freeman Boat Works, 2021 model, 34 VH. Got about 3 trips on it till this weather kicked up, so it's in the shop getting a nice wrap put on it. Besides a charter game, I do the tournament circuit with the Sling Magic fishing team that my buddy Lance Thomas founded. We run the Gulf Coast Triple Crown. Did all the tournaments in the beginning, and then kind of whittled the Triple Crown down to a few that we really enjoy, like the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic, the Blue Marlin Grand Championship, Orange Beach Invitational. And then depending upon the weather, we fish Cajun Canyons out of Venice. We kind of keep it down to those 3 or 4 now.
You also fished the World Cup this year.
Oh, we did. How could I forget that?
And I know that because you were the last person to sign up for me.
We had about 10 minutes till with the cutoff. We were filling it out.
I don't even think you had 10 minutes because you called me up and I called the IT guy. I says, "Do you see somebody in the queue?" And he says, "Yes, he's filling out the paperwork right now." I go, "When he's done, shut it off."
Yeah, thank you for getting us in there at the last minute. We got in. We were waiting on a part. I forget what the part's called. It's basically like the motherboard that is responsible for the steering went out. And it's not an expensive part. And we were trying to diagnose a problem for like 5 days. And we talked to the Sling Magic boat's an Invincible. And we were talking to Invincible, and they were like, "Yeah, that seems like the problem if you're not getting power here and there. And we'll ship you one out overnight right now." And we were waiting like, man, is it going to make the 2 p.m. cutoff to get out overnight? And we end up calling, I think it was Boat Stuff. One of the boat companies had the part in stock. And we sent the guy, we're like, "Get in the car, go now." And he had the part in hand driving back. We're like, talking with the owner and Lance Thomas, and he's like, "Man, do we gamble? Do we take the risk? We don't know if that's the problem or not. It could be another problem." I'm like, "I don't know much about this problem because I haven't had it happen to me before, but I've been through this boat. It's this or it's one other thing." And he was like, "You know what? Let's just roll the dice and register." And we registered, got done with the paperwork, I guess at like 5:05, maybe something like that. We were in, the boat still wasn't running until like 8 o'clock that night.
You were filling out your paperwork before our time, 6 o'clock. It was like 5:57. You called me up and you asked, "Do you still have time?" And I said, "You have 3 minutes, fill it out." And it might have even been a little earlier, like 5 minutes till. And the IT guy said, "Hey, there's somebody filling it out." And I'm like, "Well, I talked to him, cut it off as soon as he's done." Anyway, let's skip over that and let's get to You fish out of Venice. Do you fish out of Cypress Cove or Venice Marina?
Both. I'll go wherever the customers are. I got a policeman coming by. Can you hear that?
Are they coming after you? Yeah, don't worry about the noise. Are they coming for you?
The customers?
No, the cops.
Oh, no, we're good.
Are you sure? Because, man, I think everybody on here by a show of hands, who wants to see it live on Facebook?
Well, look, that's my front door right there. So if y'all catch it before we do and I run that way,
we know.
Call me on my cell phone. I'll leave this live.
All right. Keep it running. Keep it running.
Yeah, so anyway. I'll go out of either Cypress Cove or Venice Marina. I have a houseboat in Venice Marina, and we take care of some of the customers there if they want. It really depends. Some of the customers want to be on a houseboat for the weekend, and they bring their own boat down and fish with us a day and fish inshore or take their own boat out. They'll end up getting the houseboats, and we pick them up right there, or we pick them up at the fuel dock in either of the marinas. Kind of easy, whatever they want to do. We cater the customers. So,
all right. How many trips do you normally run in a year?
The last 2 years hurt us. 2 years ago, I was going about 150 to 200 trips a year.
Okay.
With the advent of social media and everything's on Instagram and Facebook now, 2 years of horrible fishing. There's no real rhyme or reason that we haven't put our finger on of why the tuna bite was so bad the past 2 years. And it burned a lot of people. They're like, man, I just call me when the bite's on. And those customers that fish with me 2-3 times a year, where they're locals or they're within a 6-hour drive, I'm like, hey, bite's on Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, they're open. Come fish. And I never made that phone call for the past 2 years.
Wow.
Now this year, there's a whole different story. The tuna are back, and there's a lot of them. The catches have been pretty substantial. Nothing like we saw 10 years ago, but that was a whole different fishery 10 years ago.
You know what the tuna said when they got there?
What's that?
And we're back.
That's why when I said it, it came out in the back of my head.
Too funny. Quick question, just because I had somebody ask me, what is the name of your charter?
Offshore Sport Fishing Charters with Captain Brett Ryan.
I'm glad you got your name right.
My website's CaptainBrettRyan.com.
CaptainBrettRyan.com. I love it.
You can find me on Instagram at Tuna Captain, all one word.
All one word, Tuna Captain.
Yeah.
All right.
I was lucky enough to get that way back in the day. People were like, man, how'd you end up with that handle? I was like, I didn't even know what Instagram was. And a young friend of mine is like, you have to get on this for your business. I'm like, all right, I'll just switch it over. And it's been great. It's been great to us.
Listen, Instagram is actually not just Instagram, just social media in general. It is an unbelievable tool that if you use it properly, it's a huge help. I use it every day. I've built a business around it. I've actually built several businesses around it. And as long as you use it properly, that's the biggest thing. You got to use it properly. So anyway, you have a Freeman, a brand new Freeman. And,
yes, sir.
You've been fishing on this new Freeman only 3 days. Tell us a little bit, because I've been seeing the pictures. Tell us a little bit about the yellowfin bite that's been out there right now lately.
This time of year, and we always say this right around now, these fronts roll through and it gets these fish going. They come in shallow water. We're catching them in 200 to 300 feet of water behind the shrimp trawl boats. And it's like Jurassic Park. You're hand feeding 150 to 200 pound yellowfin at the boat. And it's not that you're feeding one or two. You can pick which one you want. You can pass the 60 and 80 pounders by and be like, nope. I want that one. And they'll keep coming back around, and you can basically hand pick the fish you want to hook. It's amazing. It's kind of similar to what they do with the bluefin tuna in the Northeast behind the herring boats. Yeah, they're basically back there feeding on what's coming off of the boat.
That's when I'm normally this time of year, I'm in Nova Scotia, Canada, nice. Giant tuna fishing. And that's exactly what we're doing. But for the people that have that aren't familiar, that are listening to this show, explain a little bit why they're behind the shrimp boats.
So these shrimp boats will get in that water column, a 200-300 foot depth, and the amount of bycatch coming off of this for a pound of shrimp, you're looking at 10 pounds of other stuff, sea robins, flounder, white trout, yellow box crabs, croakers, tons of just little, you would call them bait fish pretty much, but species of fish that they're sorting out. And when they pick the shrimp out of everything that's on deck, they put the shrimp to one side, they put all the bycatch to the other, and they start washing it off the deck. And there's sharks, there's porpoise. Well, we say porpoise to differentiate from dolphin and mahi-mahi. Ours are all bottlenose dolphin. You have dolphin, sharks, kingfish, blackfin tuna, and more bonita, which they call false albies on the East Coast, than you've ever seen in your entire life behind these boats, just gorging themselves on what they're throwing out. That attracts them. And also you could see these yellowfin will get in front of the boat sometimes and just ride with them. And when the boat slows down, they kick that motor into high gear to raise the nets. It's like the dinner bell. These fish should know they're about to get fed. And these boats will sit out there. It's 5-foot seas out there today, so nobody's out. But the trawl boats are still out there working. They'll stay out there, and these fish will just get behind them. And if you get 2 or 3 days of rough weather, it's not such a bad thing because the fish will be there feeding with no boat fishing pressure.
With no pressure on them.
Yeah, and you go a day after a front, and those boats have been working 2 or 3 days. It's amazing what you'll see back there.
So what are you using for bait while you're fishing for these yellowfin?
Anything that ranges from live bait, which are mullets, hornbellies, or hardtails, to whatever they're feeding off of behind the boat. As you're throwing out, we'll put our deckhands up on the trawl boats to get a certain bait that we want, because like croakers tend to float. Not that they won't eat them, but the chum doesn't sink. So all the bonita will get that on the surface. If you're throwing chum overboard and the big yellows show up, basically look at what they're eating, because they'll do the same pass. And if you throw a handful of flounder and croaker and white trout out, you'd be like, oh, they're eating a white trout. Find the biggest white trout you got, put it on a hook and throw it out there, and they'll eat it. I've got a video that was filmed with a TV show back 2013. It's on YouTube, called Monster Tuna Takes the Bait. And this is back before GoPros had that screen on the back that you could see what you're filming. You kind of just pointed it and hope you got it. The cameraman had it on a pole and he stuck it under the water, and I had thrown a flounder about that big. Just put a hook in it, and I was like, oh, that fish is he's liking the flounder that are in the bycatch. Threw it out, and I've got bonita and blackfin shooting through the video, and you just hear him go, I think I just got that on video. And you see about a 175 just casually swim right by, look at all the other chum, just chomp the flounder and keep going about it. I had him on 300-pound test and a 10-aught hook. He wasn't line shy at all. He was just worried about eating what he was after. Hooked him. Go ahead.
Do you have a problem with fish getting leader shy?
Oh, yeah. In the summertime, especially when we're live baiting, we like to use 80-pound test, but when you're down to clean water, we'll drop to 60-pound.
Are you using fluorocarbon or just straight mono?
10 feet of fluorocarbon.
Okay. And how are you connecting that to your main line?
300 feet of top shot, 80-pound top shot mono, backed with 130 Jerry Brown braid.
So you have 80 foot of your fluorocarbon?
Nope.
What do you use?
from the hook, 10 feet of fluorocarbon to like, it'll range as I get it cut down by retying knots and stuff. But when I respool, I start with 300 feet. Sometimes it'll get down to 100 feet of 80-pound mono. Then I go to braid. But it also depends on the rods. If I'm on my live bait rods, which are a lighter tackle rod, I don't need the mono because the rod gives it enough flex that I won't pull a hook on a fish. But those heavy duty Shimano 6 80-pound class tuna sticks, like the 5'6" ones,
Okay.
those don't have enough flex in them. So you want to use some mono top shot. So you got stretch on it.
What's the connection that you're using between your fluoro and your mono?
The knot?
Is it a knot or is it a swivel? What are you using?
I stopped using swivels years ago. I just felt it was one more thing in the link to fail. And I just use a double uni knot.
A double uni knot.
After a while, it will get memory in it. And when you try and throw out, it'll spin around the rod tip. That's why I start with 300 feet and I'll cut 50 feet off if it's got swivels in it. Or not, if it's got swirls in it.
Okay. If it's got memory in it.
Memory. Yeah, that's the right term. And also, we charter fish. So some of these fish, some people, it's the first time being hooked to an 80-pound tuna. We fight everything stand-up gear. So you want to keep your rod perfectly perpendicular to the boat to force that tuna into his death spiral. And sometimes line touches the boat and you get a fray in it. I just cut it out and put the fluoro up to where there's no fray.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked, and let me go back to the question. And Zach McDonald, he's running a brand new 2021 Freeman. We covered that at the beginning, but I'll repeat it for you. Steven has asked, what's the worst day on the water you've ever had?
When it's flat calm and I have customers that are not savvy. I don't know how to say that and be politically correct. Rude customers.
Rude customers.
Rude customers could have ruined a perfectly good day. I've caught fish, and this is funny. I have 5-star review on my social media until one guy, and it was rough weather, but customers I'm looking at TripAdvisor to book my bachelor party in Mexico. You want to see that bad comment, that one. Can I say a-hole? There's always
a-hole's okay.
There's always one in every group. You can't please everybody. It's something I've come to terms with. And you can't please everyone, but everybody wants to look at that one bad review just to see how good the good reviews are. Whether it's your buddies posting to make you look better or whatever, it kind of validates you when you have that one bad one up there, because that nobody's perfect. There's something, not everybody gets along. So,
listen, I understand it. For most people that, if they don't know me, every once in a while, I get a little testy. It happens. I've been known to, be picky. So
yep.
Is that your new mate talking in the background?
Nah, that's my original mate.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
That's Otis. He's running around in the park.
Oh, there you go.
That's my duck hunting mate, man. One of the best duck hunting dogs I've ever had. He'll bring you back nutria. Anything you shoot, he'll try and bring it back to you.
It's getting to be that time of year too.
Yeah, we just had teal season, and teal season was good until we had Hurricane September, my buddy calls it, roll through here, where it was just back-to-back storms. But I got 2 days of hunting in, and they were good.
I know I had a friend that was supposed to go up to Lake Charles, and unfortunately, he was supposed to go up. It was 3 days after Laura, and so he had to cancel for early teal season. So, and I know I was trying to put together a cast and blast for some friends of mine, and unfortunately, we had to. Right now, we're on postpone till maybe next year or later on in the season.
Yeah, they got a lot of people. A lot of my buddies from New Orleans went over there to help them run food lines. And, none of the restaurants are open, but people need to eat while they're working. So
amen.
A lot of people from New Orleans head over there to help them out. I have a buddy with a vodka distillery over there. yellowfin vodka. I don't know if you heard of that, but he didn't have much damage. He got a couple feet of water in the distillery and little due to sheetrock, and they'll be back up and running, no problem.
So tell us, right now is your yellowfin season, but tell us over the course of 12 months, what are you guys normally fishing for? And if you want to go month by month or season by season, oh, is that the police?
No, close. It's my fiance.
Congratulations. He has to be the luckiest man in the world to get a nice fiance that's willing to accept a fisherman.
Well,
Oh, you know what? She can't even hear me, can she? Because you got the speakers on in your ear.
Yeah, Fly. I'm on an interview, and he said, "I must be a lucky guy to find a lady that knows a fisherman." She's a biologist for the state for wildlife and fisheries, so she deals with us knuckleheads all day long, and then she's got to come home and deal with me. So
and we are some knuckleheads. We definitely are some knuckleheads. So let's circle again. Let's go season by season. Now you're getting ready to go into your winter season. You're in fall right now. Once January starts, what do you guys have going on between January and, let's say, March?
So Venice is known as tuna town. We fish tuna year round. Nothing much changes other than the size of them and the location. I've caught them in every month of the year. And it varies. Sometimes you have a year where you have a good warm winter where bait stays around and you're catching 120 pounders out at the floaters. And floaters, what I mean by floaters is the offshore oil rigs that are in deep water, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 feet of water. You're further out there, 70 miles from land, water still in the 80-degree temperature. You might see it in the low 70s in January, but it's the kind of weather where it's 50 degrees on land. We leave the river socked in fog, freezing cold, and you're offshore and you're peeling off giant layers of ski clothing because it's a freezing ride out. And once you start fishing, it's lovely out there. But January through March, we'll fish the floaters if the fish aren't on the midnight lump yet. And I say midnight lump because that's what everybody knows. But in the past few years, we've been fishing the east lump, known as the horseshoes. The fish will generally show up there thick late January. You will catch them coming through in December, but late January. And also our business picks up more late January once hunting season's over. Once everybody's out of the woods, messing with the deer and the elk and all that, they're ready to fish. So our busy season kicks up last week of January through the first week of April. And then you kind of get a lull where we don't have seasons here. It's hot and it's cold. So whether you start getting the southern fronts blowing or the northern fronts blowing, they kick up in April a little bit and then settle down first week of May, and pretty much May to August, we're in a summertime fishing pattern where it's primarily live bait out at the floaters. You fish are 30 to 90 pounds, but a lot more on the 30 to 60 pound range. And August is just so hot out there. Kind of a little lull. The fishing's good, but it's 110 degrees out there. Then at the end of September, what we're starting right now is when we start fishing behind the trawl boats, and all those big fish are in really close, but you can also run out to the floaters and bang out a limit of 60 to 80 pound fish real quick.
Nice.
Aside from the yellowfin tuna, December, January is our big wahoo month. It kind of is the same with y'all on the East Coast, huh? In December, January, y'all are catching big wahoo.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're fishing those in about your 400-foot depth range, and it's all big 60 to 120 plus pound wahoo. Big wahoo.
Nice. Now, does your wahoo bite come around the moon cycle up there like it
100%. moon cycle and a cold front. If you've got a cold front blowing on a good moon, you can go out and smash the giants.
And you guys get some monster ones. You guys get some 100-pounders up there.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And do you primarily get them on live bait, or you primarily get them trolling for them?
Trolling. The trolling's 90% of it.
Tell us
some
about,
people that go. All right.
Tell us about it. What are you normally pulling for the wahoo?
Shaky baits. Your bomber CD30s, mirror lures.
Okay.
The Halco's been a good one the past couple of years. It's not a lip bait, but it's in a good water, the right water. It's been a good surface bait. Yep, shaky baits rigged with wire. That's 99% of it. Some people have been messing with the down rigging live mullets, and that's been producing some good ones. If you're going for a big one, we didn't really have a big winter wahoo tournament. There was one out of Cocodrie, the home big game club I put on, but Robbie started that Louisiana Tuna and Wahoo Classic. And the tuna categories were big, but you saw a lot of guys putting in the time to catch a wahoo, doing the live mullets down on the down rigger, putting in time to catch good wahoo. And there were some people put some good fish up for that tournament this year. And I think Robbie, due to the moon and the fronts and I think Robbie extended it like another month this year. So it's going from like the last week of January to the first week of April. So
yeah, I believe it's 4 months.
Yeah.
And
last year, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, if he wants to talk about it, he can come on and talk about it himself. He keeps blowing me off. I can't give him that much shit. I love Robbie. Robbie's a good dude. I see a bunch of people jumping in here on YouTube. Hook Fishing Tackle, Real Alaska Fishing Charters. That's Edgar Scott. Ray Kelly from Long Island. Good to see you. I also see David Gonzalez sitting in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And,
hey, I'm headed there at the end of the month for my bachelor party. How's the bite in Cabo?
The bite's actually been really good. I hear the striped marlin are biting really good. Robbie,
that's what I need. Get them. Knock a couple pegs off my Royal Slam. I'm a little over halfway there.
All right. Well, I got plenty of contacts over there if you need them.
Nice.
And Robbie Carter's joining in. He's saying January 23rd through April 3rd. So, Robbie, why don't you just come on here and tell us what you want? I mean, luckily I can read, but some days I got to put my reading glasses so I can see.
Tell them we're coming back for the title. We're as Team Slang Magic are the defending champs. We won wahoo and tuna for that tournament last year.
Oh, you swept the board.
Yeah, I fished a lot of tournaments in my life, and that was the first big Happy Gilmore check I've gotten. I went and bought that check drinks at the bar that night.
Come on.
There's pictures of me with it under my arm, like having drinks. People wanted to take pictures with it. I was like, have at it, man. I didn't care if the check was for $2 or $3. I just wanted the big check.
Man, if I would have known that, I'd make you a check. I would make it out to just 0 cents, just so you can walk around with the check and I can have my logo on it.
Yep. We'll rock it. So
if I knew that's all it takes, damn.
So yeah, got that out. That was a good tournament. It was we didn't even bet the wahoo category in the Calcuttas. We just we were going after the big tuna. We put the side bet money in that. We were in the original buy-in for wahoo, and one of my buddies, one of the captains down there that fished really hard for wahoo and was going hard on that wahoo category. They had it. They had like first, second, and third place. Like they put their time in. And he was coming back in as we're headed in, and I hit him over the radio. I'm like, hey, man, what's your biggest wahoo right now? It's like, I think 68. I'm like, yeah, buddy, I think we got you. You might want to come check this out. Like we weighed in at 87 pounds.
Wow.
And the fish, we weren't even targeting wahoo. We were chumming tuna, and it hit a tuna bait. We got the wahoo on fluorocarbon, on 80-pound fluorocarbon.
Sometimes it's meant to be.
Yep, we got lucky on that one.
Sometimes it's meant to be. Beth, I will text you some information about that after the podcast. Somebody's asking for a recommendation. How big was your tuna that you caught to win?
187.
So you got first in both categories.
Yeah, we got lucky on that fish too. The tournament boat had not been run since the summer before. This tournament started in January. Lance still had NBA games going on. And the format of that tournament, you could pick 2 days and 2 days or fish all 4. We were watching the weather, it just didn't line up. I'm like, Lance, there's only 4 days left of the tournament. What do you want to do? He's like, y'all go fishing. Just go call in, say you're going to fish those 4 days and go do it. So I got on the boat, not having been run since August, maybe September. And everything was running fine. I went through it, make sure bilge pumps, everything was working. I didn't turn the sounder on in the dock because it had been on the trailer and it didn't even occur to me to check the sounder. We got all the way out there and I had no sounder. So luckily, I fished this spot for 14 years. I know that on a certain current and wind that the tuna will stack up on one corner of what we call the lump. It's just a big underwater salt dome. And I was like, well, I've caught fish right here before. Let's try it. After messing 20 minutes with the sounder trying to get it to run, I was like, let's just fish. Put out a chum slick, first bait out. I was like, damn it, that's a shark. Left it in the rod holder, kind of racked it up. I'm like, it might not be a shark. Tail wrapped 140 pounder, got it in like 8 minutes.
Wow.
Fish came basically straight back to the boat. Like, holy shit, that's a tuna. Let's go reset in this spot. And then Captain Ken, who fishes on the team with us, his bait got hit on the next one. I'm like, that's definitely a tuna. Didn't even think it was that big. Stuck the gaff in it, and it was nose to tail in the fish box. It's like, yeah, I think we got a contender right here. So first day out there, no sounder, just luck of the draw. Got 2 good fish.
Man, you got to love that. I got a comment come in right now from Brian Johnson. He says, get out and get that Mongo tuna before the end of the tournament. So
we are. Lance is watching the weather, and next weather window, he'll be down here. And I've seen that. The only thing on the Mondo board is the swordfish and that marlin.
That's the only thing on the board?
That's it. The stakes are high in that tournament. 175 pounds or more for tuna. 50, I think, for mahi-mahi. And I think it's like 40 for wahoo. It's high. It's some big fish. But, you're going for one big fish. I like the layout of that tournament.
Yeah, Brian, could you give us the standings on the Mongo right now? Did you say they're wide open, so they haven't even gotten qualifying fish?
No, the only two qualifiers are the 2 on the board.
All right. So what are the minimum weights, Brian, so we can put it all, across for everybody? 175.
I got a funny story.
Tell me a funny story. I like funny stories, man.
I'm pretty sure we have that 850 marlin that is on the board hooked. Those guys caught that fish like a week after I think we caught it. When you see a fish that big, we have a lot of marlin on the Gulf, but when you see a fish that big, you remember it. I remember how many teeth that fish had because he smiled at me as he got away. We touched the leader. We got him to the boat. Flying gaffs were out. I was on a charter. I ran the Slang Magic because my new boat was being built. Had some customers that his wife worked for the National Park Service or National Marine Service. She was a federal biologist. So she'd been around people fishing all her life, but never caught a marlin. And this guy was like, hey, you do marlin charters? I said, absolutely. I'd like my wife to catch her first marlin. Can you make that happen? I said, I could try my darndest. And They booked a trip. We went out there. We did an overnight trip for them. We loaded up the tuna tubes with bait, started pulling bait, and about 5:45 at night, not at night, the sun was setting, a 350-pound marlin hit a live tuna. She got her fish to the boat, probably about a 25, 30-minute fight. We put a tag in it, released it safely. She caught her first marlin. We tossed her overboard, did the whole ceremony. By that time, it was 7:38 at night. We started tuna fishing, put like 8 good tunas in the box, loaded the tuna tubes with fresh bait. And I mean, the sun was just cracking the horizon. And I estimated that fish at 850 pounds. We fought it for 7 hours.
Wow.
The guy that was on the rod gave us 2 more hours. He didn't even have in him. I was like, look, man, when we took off from the dock, I told y'all we were registered in the marlin tournament. You know, the money's one thing. I want you to get this fish to the leader and as a certified catch, you know, like we got him hooked, but we need to touch the leader to make sure it's a certified catch. And the dude actually was an engineer that designed some of the offshore oil rigs. He designed Jack St. Malo, which is way, way out there. And he'd seen people catching marlin his whole career. He never caught one. I was like, dude, that's your fish. That's a fish of a lifetime. And it was about a 60-year-old gentleman. On stand-up, he worked that fish for 7 hours. The last hour and a half, we stared at the leader knot coming up and down out the water. So we got the touch, and we were about to stick him. He just came unbuttoned. And about a week and a half later, 20 miles away, Florida Lee, I think, was a boat that caught.
It's Florida Lee.
Yeah, they caught that 850, and I was like, is there a hook in his mouth? Like where there was a hole, he's got to be full of line burn. Like that was a smart, big fish. And
that was on the 5th of July. It was on the 5th of July, the day after the World Cup.
Yep. Yeah, we had caught that. We had hooked that fish, I think, about 2 weeks before that. And we were looking for that fish again for the World Cup. And we don't have the new thing with all the marlin fishes and having that periscope sounder.
The sonar.
Yeah, we're looking at getting it installed on the Slang Magic. But a couple of buddies and other boats have it, and we sat on top of good fish all day for the World Cup. And they're like, dude, you got fish all around you. They just weren't eating. And you know, it's the luck of the draw. It is what it is.
That's why they call it fishing.
Yep. And you know, we're gonna do it again next year if the weather's right, and the year after that. So we'll win at some point.
There you go. You got to keep fishing. Let me give out these weights right now for the Mongo tournament with 13 days to go. In the lead of Blue Marlin, we got an 851.9 on the Florida Lee. Swordfish is a 313.2 pound swordfish aboard the Titan Up, and Wahoo is 73.3 pounds on the Breathe Real Deep. Right now, the tuna and the mahi are open. Mahi, 40-pound minimum. Tuna, 175-pound minimum. And then, hello, Corey. Good to see you from Oregon. Oregon Fall Chinook Fishing is the Super Bowl of fishing by Corey. And Zach is saying the new sonar technology is amazing. And
yeah,
it really is. It's pretty impressive.
A couple of the guys that have them refer to the guys that don't have them in the tournaments as donors.
You know, and it's funny you say that, but I have heard a couple of stories where guys have actually chased fish around all day long and fished out of what their normal strategy would be, because they marked the fish and they stuck with them what they felt was a little bit too long, and they ended up wasting a morning on a fish.
I watched some of them, just like everybody will be sitting there. You got your live baits out around the rig, and all of a sudden you just see somebody peel off and start taking off. Like, oh, yep, he's chasing down a fish. And, you know.
and it happens.
If
So
they eat, they eat. If they don't, that's when I started fishing the tournaments with Lance. It was a brand new team, a lot of green guys, and they have really developed their skills. And I see a lot of progress with the team I'm on, because every tournament that winning fish of that tournament, we've been in the spot. We've been next to the boat that caught it. We've watched the bite go down. It's like we're doing everything right. It's right place, right time, right presentation. I watched for Blue Marlin Grand Championships 2 years ago, the guys that won it. I watched the Marlin go through the guys' baits next to us, right through our baits, and kind of look at it. And the other boat had seen it coming, and they threw out a third or fourth bait right at it. And when it splashed the water, that fish came right up to it and ate it.
wow.
In the first day of the tournament, we had gotten there that night. They got there that morning, and they were like, "Yep, we're taking it to the house." We sat there another 2 days, like, damn it, that was the winning fish right there. I'm telling you.
I want to give a big shout out to Pork Chop. He just joined us. Mum just joined us. And let's see, was there somebody else? Max Heaton says the Florida Lease boated their fish in 15 minutes.
Yeah, we wore him out, I guess. That's awesome. That's a good job.
So pretty impressive. 15 minutes and have the fish to gaff. It's that's there's a lot to say about that at an 800-pounder.
Yeah, that's a lot of green angry fish right there, man.
Exactly. It's going to leave a mark. It's definitely going to leave a mark. But it's like Corey's saying, 95% of the time it's about being at the right place at the right time.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said about that. So now you have this new boat. What's your plan?
Fish and tuna, man. I got the rest of this month pretty much booked up with charters. It's pretty much going to be a straight run through the end of the month, because we just had to cancel like 5 trips with this front that's rolling through. So that might take up the rest of my off days. And then on the 29th, I'm off to Mexico for 2 weeks. I get back. I got 2-3 days with my lady, and then back to work tuna fishing, and duck season starts on like November 14th. So I'll be doing that till Thanksgiving, take a little break. Business usually slows down during the holidays and hunting season. And then pretty much second week of January, we're full bore into the next year.
So your personal hunting season, is it all duck, or do you sprinkle a little bit of deer in there as well?
Nope. I enjoy the ducks, man. I enjoy being with my buddies, being on the water. The joke I make about deer hunting, like, I've been and I enjoy it. I just don't enjoy sitting out there by myself because I fall asleep. But my buddies are like, man, that's what I love about deer hunting. It's so quiet. You're out there by yourself and you're peaceful. I'm like, that's because you're married and you have kids. That's why you go up in the stand and go out there. You need that peace and quiet. They're like, yeah, that's part of it too.
So, there's like 3 or 4 things I could say right now, but I'm not going to. But somebody does have a question. Pork Chop wants to know, what species of duck do you mostly shoot up there in Louisiana?
I hunt pintails. I think they're the king of the birds. They're the smartest. That's what I go after. But the majority of birds that are harvested where we are gadwall, and we call them gray ducks. That's pretty much what'll fill your bag out. I like the pintails. I could shoot gray ducks all day long and it's fun, but getting in spots where the pintails are and you shoot those big, long sprigs, that's what I go after.
So you have consensus on that. He says he's not wrong. So just in case you didn't know, I guess you were put on point to see if you were right or wrong, and he says you're right. So
there you go.
And
we don't get a lot of greenhead mallards. If you shoot one greenhead mallard during the year, you're doing good. But they generally stay further up north.
We get them on occasion here in Florida, but I haven't duck hunted here in Florida, and it's been a bunch of years. I prefer leaving the state.
Yeah.
I prefer leaving the state. That deer hunting and the pintail. I guess you're right about the deer hunting and the pintail. Anthony Aaron says Captain Brett. I interviewed Anthony the other day.
Yeah, I saw that cast, man. That was a good one. I was driving up to Freeman watching that one. That's when I reached out to you, like, hey, you want to do something about Venice? Let's do it. So,
listen, anytime I can get fishermen or hunters on here, I want to give everybody the opportunity to listen to some stories from other fishermen. That's my biggest thing. I want everybody to have the opportunity to talk and share, and especially right now. We've added 9 million new fishermen in the United States that we can track. That's brand new fishermen. So, and when I say those are the ones that we can track, most states, if you're under 16, you don't need a license. If you're over 65, you don't need a license. And so we can't track them. I just talked to FWC today here in Florida, and I asked them, I go, hey, can you find out how many new fishermen we've added here in Florida? I'm curious. I'm very, very curious how many we've added just in the state of Florida. And listen, fishing is the perfect social distancing sport. So it's a big deal. How am I, Anthony? I am doing incredible, brother. I'm sitting here, been going crazy, working on my new book that I'm writing, and been a lot of phone calls, and I'm enjoying getting new people on the show. I'm glad to see that you got the name right, because I blew it. I told you I'm gonna be hard on myself. I'm not gonna just let that go. I gotta keep. I'm hard on myself.
As long as you get the tagline and we're back down in the beginning, I think it's all good from there, man.
After that, I can make the rest of the shit up, And even and we're back, I can, it's my tagline. So if I mess it up, I mess it up. A big shout out to Tiny. He's just joined us. I've been trying to get Tiny on board as well, but he keeps pushing me off. But I get it. He's got some stuff going on. He wants to wait for the right time to get on here. So on that note, have we missed anything? Is there anything that you want to bring up that we haven't? Because we're getting to be around that witching hour.
Gotcha. We talked a bunch about me. Is there anything guys want to know that are on about Venice? We talked about Venice Marina and Cypress Cove.
Hold on 1 second. You can't just say guys. You got to say guys and gals.
Guys and gals.
We got some
Cats
gals
and
on.
Kittens.
Yeah. It's so funny. So I guess you've watched the show before.
Oh, I don't know anybody who hasn't.
And I always wind it up with all you cool cats and kittens. But today I was this morning, and let's see, where's my notes? All you catfish and minnows. I was told I should use my own tagline to all you catfish and minnows.
I like it.
Fly, do you have to throw you under the knee? I have to throw myself underneath the bus. That's what I do. Hey, listen, I throw a lot of shit to everybody, but I am really, really good about throwing it on myself. I have no problem throwing myself underneath the bus. I am fair. I am fair.
You remember when we were chatting right before the World Cup, and we were talking about being a good shit talker, and that was 90% of being in this game. Catching fish is one of them.
Listen, hey, fishing the fishing stuff is you can learn it, but you got to be a good shit talker, because there's a lot of time in between bites, so you got to make sure that time passes. And I saw Cameron on here earlier. So Cameron is a Marine veteran, and he is based out of Okinawa, Japan. He did I want to say, and I don't know if he's still watching, I think he did 10 or 12 years in the Marines, but he has a tackle shop in Okinawa, Japan now. And he started a charter fleet over there. And some weekends he's got 3 or 4 boats, and some weekends he's got up to 14 boats taking Marines out fishing. Marines and Air Force and a bunch of our service members out.
Well, nobody that deserves a fishing trip better than those guys, man.
Amen, brother. And I was on a boat, and I want to say it was 15 or 16 Marines on there. By the end of the day, and they were all the way from enlisted privates all the way up to captains. And I didn't cut anybody any slack. I talked shit to all of them. And finally, the captain came up to me, and he says, were you ever in the Marines? I'm like, no, sir. He's like, well, you definitely talk shit like a Marine. Because I was busting everybody's balls. So, but hey, listen, that's what happens when you're on a boat. You got to talk about, and that's true too, Corey. You can't forget about the firefighters. Corey is a firefighter. So any of our front lines, men or women, were you in the barrel fly? I never made it. It was never my turn in the barrel while I was over there, Pork Chop. And Pork Chop spent plenty of time in the barrel while we fit. Just so you know, so everybody knows, his name's popping up as Eric Leach, but we worked together for 9 years on the Real Tight, and all 9 years Eric spent in the barrel. Sorry, Pork Chop. You lose out when I have the microphone. So, well, if we have no questions, we'll just have to get you on here again, Brett, if somebody has some questions about Louisiana or Venice. But on that note, I'm going to give you one last time. If there's anything you want to see or say before we sign off?
Not much. You know, if people are ready to fish right now through the middle of November is a great time to come visit Venice. Like I said earlier, we got Jurassic Park going on in our backyard. Well, it's not a far run to
again
big fish,
for anybody that has joined us late, let them know how they can find you.
CaptainBrettRyan.com. You can find me on Instagram at Tuna Captain and on Facebook at Offshore Sport Fishing Charters with Captain Brett Ryan. And the website again is www.captainbrettryan.com.
Is that a full CAPTAIN?
Spelled out. Yep. Spelled out with 2 T's on Brett.
2. Or as my fellow Cuban brethren would say, dos. All righty. On that note, I don't know if they can listen, but to all you catfishing minnows, we are going to sign off out of here. Brett, you stay tight. Don't hang up. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. Also, you can watch this. It's going to stay on Facebook. It's going to stay on YouTube. Where's that noise coming from? On your end?
That's Otis, my dog.
And I just want to make sure it wasn't me. And then it'll be in a couple of days, it'll be up on Spotify and iHeartRadio, iTunes, and all the other good places where you want to hear podcasts. So everybody, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I really appreciate you guys always joining us here to all these cool offshore stories. So I really appreciate it. And we will check you guys next week.